Hello everyone, Happy New Year, welcome back to RAILstuff. First of all, I've been very quiet of late, but there's a really good reason for that. The last 4 weeks exactly have been me being knee deep in nappies rather than anything railway related, because my partner gave birth to our firstborn on the 27th of December, so yeah, took a little bit of time off and a bit of paternity leave to spend with young Billy, and he's doing well, mother's doing well, but dad's very tired. That's basically how it goes, right? But anyway, I am back. And there's a few things going on. First of all, show season is starting slightly later for me this year because of the newborn. But I'm really excited to be able to say that my first show of the year is at the end of February, and I'm heading to Scotland for the first time with RAILstuff. We'll be at Model Rail Scotland over that last full weekend in February. The 3-day show, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, well worth it. Looks like it's going to be great. Anyway, back with a new video, and I have a little packet here which I've been meaning to get stuck into for quite some time. On Instagram, there's a few people that I interact with on a more regular basis than others, and one, links below, has launched a charity event. It's called PimpMyShed, and basically what he's done is he's printed up some a 3D printed garden shed, and the idea is to do whatever we want with it. So first of all, we make a donation to charity to receive the kit, which I did. It's to Mind, which is close to my heart, so I was happy to make that donation. And then basically he sent me this kit, which is a garden shed, for me to do something with it. So that is what I'm going to start thinking about today. The idea is to create a small diorama, a small scene. So I'm probably going to do something on this A4 MDF board. I'll probably put the shed in the back corner here, and then it may be that I trim the MDF down, or I may leave it A4 size. I haven't actually decided what I'm going to do with it yet. The pressure is on though, because the quality of some of the other pimped sheds has been absolutely outstanding. So I'm probably showing you a couple of those on the screen right now, but they are absolutely fantastic. But it's all for a good cause, all for a bit of a laugh, and means I get to try out some of the stuff for stock in RAILstuff, including, and actually, I mean, I'm just stepping over the other side of the shed, including, we have some brand new from MIG Ammo, these moss products. So that is, you know, a moss powder sprinkle on. This is Fenland grass. There's a few other different types. So I think we'll probably do something with some moss. It kind of works with a garden shed. And also new is, I should have prepped this earlier. Also new from MIG Ammo, rapidly turning into my favourite brand at the minute, are these little vignette acrylic water for diorama type things. So slow river waters, there's clear water, there's another one as well, I think it's fast flowing water or something like that. So I might do something with a pond or something like that, because I want to try those out. I definitely want to do some more work with creating textured mud like this. So this was, and there's another video, I'll put the link up above, where I used some DAS clay and then used the MIG Ammo textured acrylic paints over the top to create the mud effect. So I may do something like that, maybe like an allotment scene maybe. I really don't know. But the first port of call is going to be to build the shed. Of course the shed will then need weathering at some point, but one step at a time. One of the first questions that people ask me about 3D printed stuff is, when I get a kit, how do I glue it together? And it's a really good question, because there isn't, it's not like a normal plastic. It's it's resin based. So some people say, oh, use a plastic glue. I don't know, there's lots of different thought processes out there. So what I've decided to do is, I keep being told that you can use this on anything. And believe it or not, I've never actually used rocket card glue before, because I don't do much with card. So I thought, let's try building this with rocket card glue. If you watch anything like Everard Junction, he seems to use it for absolutely anything and everything. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to snip this open. I'm going to get my glasses because I'm getting old, and we are going to start building a shed. Right, so I have grabbed some trusty Bostik out of the cupboard just in case, but I think this rocket card glue is going to do the trick. For a little while I've decided that the rocket card glue isn't exactly perfect for this job, which I'm sure some of you were shouting at me anyway, and if you were, then well done, you were right. But yeah, people keep telling me that you can use it for pretty much everything, so I thought I'd give it a go. So now we've learnt, not for 3D printed stuff, so I'm just roughing up the edges on here. And what I'm going to try next is the ultra thin cement that I normally use on other plastic kits, as in non 3D printed plastic kits, because I'm wary of the fact that these are resin, and I'm not sure what effect that will have, but we're going to try it. All of this is a bit of trial and error. But that's part of the fun of model building and things like that, is this trial and error side of things. So one of the things I do like about this ultra thin cement is it's got a brush built in. I do like a brush. So just brushed a small amount on there. Then I'll just brush a small amount down the cracks. That's the great thing about an ultra thin cement as well, is that it runs, but it's done absolutely nothing. Next port of call then, good old all-purpose glue, contact adhesive, whatever you want to call it. That's what this is. Now ideally I'd have a little cocktail stick or something to apply a thin bead, but I don't, so we'll just put some on that piece of paper there, not paper, the little bit of plastic there, and then I've got a tiny thin piece of metal here where I can use that to run a bead along here instead. A contact adhesive like a Bostik or a Yoo-Hoo or something like that. Yeah, an all-purpose adhesive maybe was the more sensible option. I can immediately feel a bit more of a bond. It's still so this video started off being a video about building a shed. It's now rapidly turning into, oh my god, there's so many different types of glue on the market, what's the right one to use for different things? And it's turning into a trial and error video on that exact subject. I'm sort of just looking to feel a bond. Yeah, and that's one of the things I like about using normal plastic, for want of a better term, and the ultra thin cement, is that it just bonds straight away. I was kind of surprised that the rocket card glue didn't do a little bit more. Perfect for card, obviously, but I have seen people use it for all kinds of other things. Well, that has started to bond a little. Yeah, it feels like that's a little better, so just keep using this to keep as much of a 90-degree angle as possible. Now I'll try the back piece. Probably put a little bit more of the glue on this time. We are now on a different day because, well, as you saw, I failed with the card glue, I failed with the cement, and I ended up on good old contact adhesive of some kind, and it was all a bit of a failure. And then the baby was crying, so I gave up yesterday. I went inside. But look, I'm back to have another little look at this. And first things first is I did do a bit more with contact adhesive, and as you can see, we actually have a shed now, and actually it's a pretty rock solid shed. So the Bostik, the contact adhesive, did its job, so we've got the outer frame of a shed, which is really quite useful. So it kind of then leads to the question of what on earth am I going to do here? And I'm favouring some kind of allotment-y type thing with a bit of a railway-y type theme. I'm sure there's more technical terms for what I'm talking about, but that'll do for now. And the reason I've just cleared this area here is this A4 piece of MDF, which is super useful. I'm actually thinking about stocking some of this, because it's great for making dioramas on. What is it? 6mm thickness from my friends at Peakdale Products. And it is, like I say, great for small dioramas, things like that. As you can see, the shed is very small compared to this A4 piece, and actually that got me thinking. I didn't actually find out what gauge this is or what scale it is, so I do need to find that out, because on here I'm going to end up with a small piece of railway track. So really the idea is very simple. I want an allotment scene, but with a railway track running alongside it. So I think just for for interest, it'll come at an angle. I don't want it just running straight along the edge. So there'll be a railway track along there. So probably like that, which then gives me a chance to ballast that, weather that, and I'm probably going to get my first ever airbrush in the next week or so, so it'll give me a chance to play around with that. What I'll then look to do is probably have old Sheddy about here, old Sheddy Eddie. So we'll just make a general mark there for the shed, and I don't really need to worry about scribbling all over this because it's all going to be covered in scenery and things like that anyway. And then along the edge here I'm going to put some fence, a nice secure fence. This isn't necessarily going to be a picturesque diorama, but I do have in my box of tricks, which you can't really see because it's way too big to be on camera at this moment in time, but in here I have put aside some stuff from Nightwing. So not only do I have a set of UN10, which is their drain pipe things, I also have a nice set of the PM121 security fencing, which I think will work very nicely as the fence to divide the allotmenty area from the railway track. So that's the idea. I'll probably find a use for the drain pipes and things in there as well. So I think we're going to have a fence there, shed there, railway track there. I may then either do some kind of tree over here. I've got a couple of trees that I actually made up last year in another video that that I can use there, or I may cut it off, and then really over here I'll probably make some kind of allotmenty type muddy area there. There'll probably need to be a little path from the shed, and then maybe somewhere to park your car there for when you come up to your allotment. I don't know, something like that. If you've got any variations on that, or any different ideas that I should really be going for, then give me a shout in the comments down below. But I think for what I'm trying to achieve, this should do it quite well, and I'm hoping that I can do it with mainly stuff that I've already got. But if not, I do know a good model shop where I can go and get some scenic items. Selfish plug here, RAILstuff.com. So I'm sure I'll be using some stuff from the shop as well. But that's the general idea. So now that the shed's built, now that we've got some general idea of how this is going to work, I'm going to keep coming back to this and building this diorama up as part of a small video series, and we can kind of go through it together, and you can see me fail at it, you can see me make mistakes, you can see me hopefully get some stuff right as well, and in amongst that hopefully trying the airbrush for the first time and all that kind of stuff. In terms of next steps, first thing is to find out what scale this is. I think it's 00 or thereabouts. That's what I'm hoping, because then hopefully I've got a scrap piece of straight 00 track I can run down there. And then once we've done that, it'll then be a case of starting to build up the base layers, because I never build scenery off of just a completely flat surface. So maybe some plaster cloth or something like that, just to add some variance into the base layer, before we then start using some of the things like the DAS clay and the acrylic paints and stuff like that. So that's the plan. Come back for the next video. For those of you who want to know, by the way, Rail People, the podcast is coming back. I've got some people lined up for the start of this year, so that will be coming back really soon. In the meantime, if you need any scenic items or accessories, head over to rail-stuff.com, and I can get you shipped out nice and quickly at the moment, especially now that Royal Mail for now are back to normal, but let's see whether that lasts, eh? But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Feel free to get in touch. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, all that kind of good YouTubey stuff, and I will see you soon, especially if you're heading to Model Rail Scotland. Thanks a lot.